are officially live. And ladies and gentlemen, that is opening that door for the first time or opening it again with us. You already know what it is, but I'm going to quickly remind you who we are, what we're about. And then I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to our special guest that we have sitting right in the middle there today, Sticky B, joining us from Toronto.
Sure.
So real quick, the We Outside live cast, and Discreet, if I miss anything, feel free just to add to it when I'm done. But the We Outside live cast is very simple, people. You open that door with us, you're going to get authentic, organic conversation. We will talk about whatever, whenever, however.
Real stories.
This show is not sponsored. This show is not owned by anything or anybody but the culture itself, which we love very much, the hip hop culture and everything that comes with that. So you never know what you're going to hear today because we are not scripted. The only thing that is scripted on our shows is we know who the guest is going to be. And then we just go from there. That's the beautiful thing about it, man. We're not trying to bait and switch you or talk about anything. You know, we're not here to talk about anything negative. It's just real conversation with people such as Sticky B, who has a passion for what they do, a drive for what they do. And we're going to find out the whys behind that, how he does that. And we're just going to have some free-flowing, organic conversation out here, people. So, as always, the show is hosted by myself, Mikey P. You got Discreet on the other side. And then, of course, right there in the middle, as I mentioned, joining us today from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. That's right, people. We are international. We were in Canada last week, too. We've been in England before. Man, we go all over the place. It does not matter.
It's nice.
Everywhere. New Zealand. We've been in New Zealand before. Like the hip hop culture is worldwide, people. So we're going to go anywhere where a story makes sense and getting with a real person, such as Sticky B himself, to pop outside, open that door with us and have some conversation. So without further ado, I want to take the time. We know Sticky B, Discreet. I let you know this. We hooked up with Sticky B along the way. I personally had hooked up with him from when we had our homegirl, Lady V. Shout out.
Yes.
You know, back in the day.
Jenny, man.
You know, and that's the beautiful thing about social media. It has connected us with some really cool people along the way. Right?
Sure.
And, you know, just Sticky B and I have had conversations before. We've done a live before on our feed, and it was the perfect time to reach out to Sticky B and be like, hey, man, let's open that door and have a conversation with you, right? So Sticky B is an artist out of Toronto, as I already mentioned. His music is uplifting. That's the main message that he stands behind. That's definitely what I've heard. But, you know, with that said, Sticky B, I'm going to turn it over to you. Bro. Do us a favor and the people outside watching with us, if you can just go ahead and in your words, let the people know who you are, what you're about, what your music's about, and then we'll just conversate from there, man.
Okay, well, Sticky B is done already. We are in Canada, Toronto, born and raised. Let's see. I guess I started music like maybe 13, 16 years old, you know, just rapping, freestyling with a bunch of friends and all that, you know, and then just took off from there. And then people were like, you know, just do, you got to do, you know, you have that kind of style and whatever. So we started that for a while. Then, you know, how life comes, it hits you, get a little trouble there and family here and this and that. So I kind of stopped the music for a while, you know, just took on the life. And then like same friends from the start were like, yo, get back on it. You know, we have these unreleased music. Let's make a music video. So, okay, we'll make a music video. And then that one music video started turning into a whole bunch of other music videos. And I was like, okay, let's do this again. Then I was like, let me tap into a lane to do my music. You know, I can't do this. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do that because I'm not from those genres. And then I'm like, I'm not going back to the other genre was the crime and all that bullshit. So I'm like, let me go back to my background. You know, my mom is heavy on like, you know, it's Christianity and God and faith and all that stuff, you know. So I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? So I just tapped in. I'm like, let me just do some uplifting music, you know, because no one heard, you know, you don't hear about that. So I'm like, let me tap into that. And I just started making some uplifting music, and it's just been good feedback. It's just been fear, love, and support from everybody and stuff like that. So I just kept with it, just kept going with it, and you know,
that's the way forward. Right, because I find in the mainstream that seems to be what they don't want to push. That positive,
exactly.
You know what I mean? What you're talking about.
Yeah,
that's what I feel anyway.
No, it's so true because even even doing the music and like doing promos and getting on shows or whatever, or just getting people to listen to it. Like people didn't really want to listen to that music, or they weren't they weren't promoting my stuff to the fullest as they were promoting the other gun violence stuff and all this stuff, and
Gotta keep going though.
Pardon?
But it just seems to be the bad stuff that gets the biggest promotion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's just, I guess that's just the way of life nowadays.
Yeah,
You
I'm used to it. I'm used to it.
Exactly. So I just I just said forget it. You can't look at all that, because if I start looking at that, I'll never get nowhere. I won't go nowhere with. So I just said forget it, and I just kept pushing. No matter how much people didn't like it or do comments, I just kept pushing, and I just kept going, and it's just led me here and there, led me to Lady V, it led me to Mike now. It just keeps leading me all different places. And it's funny too. I was at a show Saturday night, and some people that do that kind of other genres are like, yo, I gotta tap into your stuff now. I see that you're going all over and you're doing this. I'm like, I've been trying to tell people, and I've been trying, especially telling him, I'm like, it's time to tap into something else and do something else. Sometimes you have to change. Sometimes, you can't always just do the same old.
Exactly.
So that's what it goes. Yeah.
Now, and then I can appreciate.
Go ahead.
Now, I was going to say what you were saying there, Sticky B, reminded me of something I actually saw. It was either this morning or yesterday from La Russell, right? Anybody that's familiar with La Russell, out of the Bay Area. One thing that I saw from him recently that I really liked was he said something along the lines of, kind of what you're talking about, Sticky B, finding your lane, finding what not just finding your lane, right, but something that you could feel good about, right? And your music being uplifting. And I like how you stated that, like, I'm just going to keep doing my thing because it's what I'm about. It's what makes me feel right. And the reason it makes me think of what I saw from La Russell, because he says something along the lines of, yo, I'm going to do the same thing that it took me to get 1 fan, that it took me to get 10 fans, that took me to get to the 100 fans, right? I'm sure you both can agree. I mean, you're staying true to yourself, and the authenticity of that in general. And anybody that knows La Russell knows what he's doing right now, and he's doing really, really, really dope things. And I think there's beauty in the authenticity, because that's how you really build a formidable fan base, right? Because Discreet, you and I have talked about this.
Totally agree.
We've talked about this before, Discreet, in the sense that, all right, cool, somebody can make a song, and let's say it goes viral. Hey, cool. But if your goal with music, at least some part of it, is to be bringing in some money from it, right? Well, you need fans who are really going to be feeling you, that are going to be willing to spend some money on you. And Discreet, I told you this before. I would rather personally, have 1,000 fans that are willing to pay me $100 per year, right?
Yeah.
Than have one viral moment. Right? Because cool, right? That's a cool experience. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But at the same time, is it really helping your goal ultimately, as far as what you're looking to do with the music, whether it's your message itself, whether it's, making the money, whatever the case is. And so that very much resonated with me. And then that leads me to a question, my first question that I have for you, Sticky B, kind of on what we were just talking about. You mentioned that you were about 13, 16 years old, give or take, when you started music. You would stop for a minute. You were just doing freestyle and just kind of kicking it. My question to you goes to the process. So when you first started, doing that, you took those couple of years off, you had some people come back and be like, hey, man, you should get back into it. The question is, what was the process for you, mainly like the learning process from just going from freestyling? And for anybody that doesn't know what freestyling essentially means, it means there's no structure to a song. There's no specific subject matter. It's hitting a beat and just spitting what comes off the dome, right? Or maybe mixing it with maybe something that you've written a little bit along here. So what was that process, that learning process for you, just going from just freestyling, to being like, yo, I'm going to make some songs. I'm going to make some music and actually building some structure to that songs. What was that like for you?
That's actually a good question, because a lot of like even freestyling and like nowadays the music, even some music now and underground, it's just a lot of like talking and like storytelling and this and that. But like to actually put a song together, that was like a challenge and stuff. So like we started freestyling like on the block in the corner with some friends, and he would kick a beatbox. you know, and we just start freestyling all kind of stuff was going on in our life right there and then, you know. So then just after that, just like getting in the booth for the first time and learning how to like, you know, you know, like rhyme your words properly, how to stay on beat, how to, you know, breath controls, how to all these things, you know, you just started learning. I'm just like, oh shit, like, you know. And then like even like hearing back some of my old freestyles, I'm like, damn, what were we saying? We were just spit, you know, so just trying to put more sense into things and stuff like that and just
Got to
control
start
it.
somewhere.
Right. And then there's like, I didn't want to just freestyle because a lot of people kind of just freestyle their songs out. Like a lot of these songs are just freestyled and just kind of like put together. But I wanted to make songs, you know. So like that was a little challenging too, to kind of get melodies and get like flows and, you know, and song worthy things to say, and, you know, and just kind of develop a song. So those are a little bit of challenges and stuff and little experience that I went through.
And a follow-up question to that, specifically going through that process, and the reason I'm asking this is because, one, we talked about it, but two, I've gone through this process specifically over the last summer. Last summer is when I really went into that type of process, and I have an answer to this question that I'm going to share as well. But this question is, what would you say is going through that process of like truly how to build an actual song, right? What do you feel is the biggest thing that you've learned or took away and going through that experience and that process and stuff of, I'm not just making a freestyle, I'm going in with the intention of making a legit structured song. What's your takeaway from going through that experience?
Well, I kind of leaned on like my history, not the history, but like the reggae music, because that to me is kind of one of the longest lasting songs like that. That's like a longevity, like even like a Bob Marley song, like that's for centuries, you know, that goes on still to this day. So I try to tap into how do I make the music, you know, like relatable forever and always, you know, kind of thing, and make everybody feel the vibe where it can be played anytime. So like that was kind of my hard point. Just trying to find those keys and try to find words and try to find rhythm that will give that feeling that of forever, you know. Versus if I just made a song and it's just like you said with the one hit wonders, I just make a song and it's catchy and put it out there and everybody's like, and then it's just dead, you know. So I was like, that was I think my hardest, trying to find the balance between the longevity of the music and, you know, trying to just make it like a long, you know, like one of those songs that you can, you know, listen for a long time and stuff and things like that.
Yeah, something that's going to be timeless.
Yeah, time to go.
Is Bob Marley one of your biggest influences then? So you know, you brought him up.
Yeah, Bob and the whole reggae scene, like, you know, Peter Tosh and all them stuff, and, you know, a lot of like Reggae Isaacs and.
What was the first music you was into? What influenced you first? Like, I love, you know, the first piece of music like you really loved. I always find that interesting.
Well, like I said, my mom was heavy on church and stuff. So, like, I guess when I first my mom was blasting Christian music in the house all the time and reggae and stuff. So like, reggae and Christian music was kind of my thing. But then after, like, you know, as you grew up, you know, you grew up with your friends and stuff, you started hearing all the rap, you know, all the DMXs, all the, you know, all those old school songs, you know.
Yeah.
And the Styles P's and the Nas and the Jay-Z eras and the Beanie Siegels, you know, all that whole era. So I jumped to that kind of style too, and that kind of level. And then I was like, as I was doing the music, I had to leave that level because I'm like, I can't do that stuff because I'm not in that life, you know. That's not who I really am, truly am. So that's why I kind of jumped back to the uplifting and the kind of songs and the kind of melodies and, you know, and the messages. Say it again.
What feels true to you?
Exactly. Yeah, that felt true to me, like the reggae and the songs and the messages and all them things. Like, you know, I know a lot of the rap was true because a lot of the back in the day rap was true. Like they were spitting real
Depends who's
facts,
saying it.
right? But then, like,
Yeah,
you know, as I was growing up, it was getting a little bit like, you know, what would we say? They're exaggerating stuff. There's a lot of lies. There's a lot of just saying things just to say things, you know. And I was like, nah, I can't do that because that's not me, you know. So
yeah.
I'm like, let me just stick with my what I know and the truth and stuff. And I studied truth a lot. I studied history a lot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like history in one of my favorite
I
classes and
find
stuff.
I find as well with some artists, you can
Mm,
just tell that they're really living what they're talking about. It's like I
mm,
remember there's two rappers in particular, 50 Cent. Like you
mm,
could just tell he really
yeah,
did come from there. And
yeah.
Bumpy Knuckles, have you ever heard of him? Freddie Fox?
Okay, okay.
Yeah, him. When I first heard him, I was like,
Mm,
oh my word. You
mm,
can tell he really does. And he really does. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. No,
Well,
some of them do come from it. Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
oh, I think there's a point to be made with what you just said, Sticky B, right? And to
Mm,
combine it with something that was said already earlier, right? Like once you know how to actually make a song, right? Like
mm,
like an actual structured song, that's a part of it. But
mm,
you know, when you're looking to find whether you want to call it your message, your image as an artist, whatever the case is, once you're so tuned in to knowing your authenticity, your truths, and wanting to talk about that.
mm,
And correct me if I'm wrong for you as an artist, because I know what it means to me as an artist.
Hmm.
Once you find that first part and then combine it with that second part of your truths, your authenticity, what you're
mm,
actually going to be out there messaging about on
mm,
your music,
mm,
I feel in my experiences of I've learned that creating in general, right, whether it's music or even something else, because it translates very much over to creation of any kind, it becomes easier as an
mm.
artist. Is that something that you would agree with or not agree with, and why or why not?
No, I agree with that totally. Because, like I said in the beginning, it was hard for me to find avenues, to find lanes, to find styles, to find people, to find, you know, everything. So, like as I stuck true to what I know, and then started doing what I know, things just became easier. Things, you know, just came to my, you know, head. Like even like support from other people, just ideas and stuff like that, just came. So it just made it easy. So I agree with that. Like, you know, things became way easier.
And something, you know,
And even
for
what I
me,
sorry, what even, sorry, I'll tell you, even like what
no,
I
you're good.
do,
You're
like
good.
it's not so much like, you know, like I don't want to knock it, but like drill rap and stuff like that. Like it's not so much you have to find words and beats and this is same and you have to kind of stand that. I can vary to so many different ways and
I find
still
it boring,
right.
all that drill stuff. It's
Yeah,
just,
like
yeah,
right, right, and it's just and you have to stay with that and you have to kind of maintain that where that's hard where you have to kind of whereas me it's easier. I can flow and make anything out of anything, you know, and just make it work. So that I
yeah.
feel that's easy.
I
No,
find
I'm
drill rap is quite sad as well. You know, all they're talking about is killing each other, and it's just
Pretty
like,
much.
what for? It's crazy. But
I
yeah,
don't know. Yeah.
story.
Nah, you're good, discreet. But I
Yeah.
think, you know,
No,
and I'm
for sure.
similar to you, Sticky B, in the sense that like I'm in reverse in the
Mhm.
sense, and what I mean by that as an artist, in the beginning when I started this, I knew what I wanted to speak about. I know what you know, foundationally, anyways, what I
Mm,
wanted my messages in music to be, right? My challenge always was, and discreet, you can very much attest to this, was
yeah,
the structure part of it, right?
yeah,
And so the thing that I, you know, and going through, I have a very similar story to you, Sticky B, that you said when you first like went to make like an actual structured song, it
Mhm.
was a challenge for you, bro.
Mhm.
That was the biggest challenge for me, you know, working with an industry producer last summer to actually make a song. It took me, I kid you not, bro, it took me like 6 weeks to actually make this song because
I believe you.
from a structure standpoint, I was just lost.
It.
I was so lost. It was so new to me.
I
Like
believe you.
I did not understand like what the producer was saying in certain things.
Mhm.
So like as much as that 6 week to 2 month period brought a lot of challenges for me and frustration points and some points where I'm like, what the fuck am I even doing? Right?
Mhm.
Like I started to question myself a little bit. It was very necessary because to the point that you just recently made as well, where you could kind of go off on your own pocket, your own wave, your own flow, your cadence piece, you know that structure now. I feel the same exact way. I listen to music now in a completely different way. I hear it in a completely different way than I heard it 8 months ago. And for me, it has made it to what you said as well. It has made it so much easier, right? Instead of having just to stay in one cadence, like I can go on a 24 bar verse and I could have like 3 or 4 different cadences or flows if you want, because I know now how to kind of like pull, let's call it pulling strings like a puppet, right? I know, like, I'm gonna be clear. I'm not gonna sit here and say I can sit there and body a beat per se, but I can pull that beat like a puppet master in a way that I was not able to do 8 months ago. And I think that's it's brought the confidence in me so much higher up as well, because now I know how to do it. Now I know what to listen for. I know how to get in and out of a pocket. If I want to change something at the end of 4 bars and then, you know, give a new flow, cadence, whatever you want to call it on the next set, I have an ability to do that today that I was nowhere close to having an ability to do 8 months ago. So, you know, that 2 months of building that track was horrible. But, you know, not only what I said today about summarizing that up, but the feather in my cap of going through that process was when the producer, and we're talking about a producer who excuse me, who was produced for E40, Richie Rich. He has produced the entire brand new Tech 9 album, 5816, that's going to be coming out, you know, early this year, as I understand it. Awesome. For him in the beginning to literally just give me so much shit when he's just like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? You are awful at this. Like, that literally happened. I didn't call him for 2 days after he told me that. He's like, you made a video? What the fuck is wrong with you, bro? To the other end of the spectrum, when I finally understood it and I was able to put it together over that 2-month period, he called me up. He's like, yo, bro. He goes, you are a rapper. He's like, bro, that is gas. He's like, this is a song that I will listen to over and over and over again. And it just made me think, man, yeah, that 2 months sucked, but it was well worth it. And I would do it.
Sure. You've got to go through these things.
Yes.
Because I remember my first ever beat, I was just dotting things everywhere and playing it until it sounded good, or it sounded like it was in rhythm. I didn't know what I was doing, but this is the thing. You've got to go through that. You've got to do that.
I'm not gonna lie, like my first song that I've ever did by myself, like write everything for myself, it took me 8 months.
It took me a good 2 years to learn how to make a beat properly. Do you know what I mean? Where the snare should go, where the hi-hat should go, where your perk should go, where your kick should go, where your 808 should go. It took me a good 2 years to like just learn to know what I was doing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good. And then again, going back to like the different styles, like you said, like you can pull strings and find different levels and everything, which some rappers can't do because they're just always on that one. So that's what always you always win or make some like an artist, a real artist, when they can like have different voices in the rap, change the style, slow it down at any time, you know, like all these kind of voice changes, these whatever word plays, like if you can do all of those, then that I feel like you know, that's one of the real artists. But if you just have just the same old da 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 and I'm done, you know, that's like, okay, you know, there's nothing unique about that. There's nothing like an artist, you know.
I've known rappers in the past that like this one, he just disappeared off the face of the earth. But this one guy I used to know, he could rap. He was a really good speed rapper. But every single track was the same. Everything he done, it was just the words were different. Do you know what I mean? But the same cadence. It was the same
style,
theme, same subject every time. And it took me other people to tell me what they were doing to make me realize, fuck me, yeah, you're right. It just never changes. It's the same shit.
So when I look at artists that can change, like for me, my, you know, like DMX and like other artists and Nas and them, they have different styles. They can always change speeds. They can always do this different, this, that, you know. So I like artists like that.
Yeah,
Can change.
Well,
exactly.
yeah, you have to have an evolution, right? And you have to be able to grow and get better because discrete, no different than we talk about our hip hop history, our hip hop history shows, right? Like
Mm.
if you're gonna really stand the test of time, like you've got to be able to grow and evolve, and that includes being uncomfortable in
Mhm.
Yeah,
some instances,
yeah, you got
right?
to, or you won't progress really.
True.
No,
True.
and
True.
and I think there's a beauty in that as long as you are intentful about that as well, right? Because like discreet, I almost asked you the other day when we were on Friday's hip hop history show. I'll use this as a quick little example.
Mm.
Do you like discreet? Do you like, because we were talking about Eminem at this point? Do you like the old school Eminem? We were talking about him early, late '90s, early 2000s when he was
Yeah,
on pills and stuff like that, or do you like his
yeah,
newer stuff? I was going to ask that as a question, and this is going to be more rhetorical. Y'all can ask real quick, and
yeah.
like if I was going to answer that question real quick in 20 seconds or less,
I've
I'll
always
put it this
liked
way.
him. Every stage of his career, I've always liked what he's doing.
Mm.
Well, I appreciate
I've
the
always
new
liked him.
stuff because
Yeah,
it shows evolution. Like,
yeah.
his most recent project, The Death of Slim Shady,
It's
right?
just natural. It's going to come with age. You're not going to be like Slim Shady LP for 30 years
Mm.
constant, are you? You're just not.
No,
Mhm.
But
you have to evolve. And Sticky B talked about that at the top of the show, right? Like as far as what he was doing when he was first 13, 16 years old, but then when he started doing it again, you have to evolve as an artist because at the same time, even on a personal level, right? Take the artistry aside for a second. We grow as human beings. Like people sometimes
it's
forget
natural. You can't
we
not.
are artists, but
It's
we're
true.
human beings.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
True.
you
You
have to
can't not
progress. And
change in a way like maturity. That's impossible to stop, really. You just can't. Do you know what I mean?
no,
It's
exactly.
true.
So with that said, Sticky B, I got my next question for you, bro.
Mhm.
Kind of being on that journey as you already have, as you evolve as an artist.
Mm.
Are there specific things that you look to, or maybe the better way to ask it is, what have been your influences as you've caught what your message is and you want it to be, how to do it, the understanding that have as time evolves? What's kind of your influences, or what that path has been like to help with the evolution of your music as a whole and for you as an artist?
So hold on, you have to say that again.
Yeah, no worries. What
Ask me
are
that
really
again.
the main influences as time has progressed for you as an
Mhm.
artist?
Mhm.
Um, as you continue to do what you're doing, what are the main influences to help you evolve as an artist as time goes on?
I would say there's a lot of influences and a lot of like, people that help me keep going up, just people in general, and then I'll go back again, like the reggae and just the consciousness of things. It's always, and then like Jada Kiss and things like that. Like I love storytellers and people that put messages in their stuff, So that all those things, and then just reggae and people in general, just people in general, And
Yeah.
then I have kids now, so like just my mom and stuff, like all these things just make you change and just keep evolving and putting out something that you like.
Do you play any instruments? I've of course seen you on the piano. That was in our promo.
Yeah.
What
I
kind of
noticed that as
instruments?
well.
What kind of instruments you be getting down on? If if you're tickling the
Well,
ivory, what else you doing out
I
there?
haven't played instruments in a while, but I
Mm.
play double bass, I play drums, a little bit of piano.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
How do you feel
No,
that translates for you as an artist when it comes down to having, even though you might not necessarily be a master per se on any instrument that you have some experience with? How do you feel in general having experience with instruments just helps you
Uh,
foundationally as an artist?
well,
If you could speak
I'm a
about that a little
bass.
bit.
I'm a bass man. So like just feeling bass and feeling beats and stuff like that, and knowing what hits and what gets the soul kind of going. What the air is like to hear. Like I've
Exactly.
learned all these. Like I went to a studio one time and they were showing me like BPMs and all these little beats and the tick ticks and this and that and just what gets airs and things going and
Mm,
frequencies and stuff. And I researched about like radio frequencies and things like. So there's a lot of little things like that kind of help out with the beat side. And I'm a big man on beats and bass. So those kind of things I kind of tapped in. I know, you know.
that's how I that's one of the ways I see I make music. It's just I don't necessarily go by what notes I'm using.
Mm,
I go by what sounds good, what I can hear in my ear.
mm,
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I'll be thinking, well, the rest of the world would say this is the right note to use,
mm,
but I like it in this note, and I'll go with it. It just
mm.
sounds better in my ear. Do you know what I mean?
True. It's true,
That
true.
just reminded me of it. What you said just then.
Yeah,
The
like yeah, like
frequencies.
yeah, like I'm a beat man. Like I can like if you play a song and you just play like an instrumental beat, I will know the beat of the song like right away. Like I can pick up on that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are the nuances that can't be taught, right? Like
Yeah.
it's something, you know, and you said it perfectly.
Excuse
It's
me.
feeling it, right? It's
Okay.
feeling it.
All that. Yeah.
It's channeling that energy that you're
Mm-hmm.
being given from a certain moment
Mm-hmm.
as well. And I think that's important. Once somebody can really understand that,
Right.
I think that's only going to better you as an artist.
Because even like with music and realizing things like just even like your body movements, like you know that can even help you with like to progress your song or to get you know to really say that's a trap because if your body gets moving too then you know that you know but if you're
It's
spitting something and you can't even move to it or something then it's just like you know so I use all these aspects and all these things into kind of determine a song and a beat.
definitely. Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
I
I
think
agree.
it's helpful because I think having that ability, discreet, and I want to get your thoughts on this too after I say what I'm about to say. I think, excuse me, um, the way you just described it, Sticky B, that's the main difference between somebody who can, let's just say, make a song and
Mm,
somebody who can actually be a performer and
true, true,
perform that song. Because let's be real, I don't care how good or bad you are.
true,
Production can make anybody sound good enough to be like, yo, this is a dope song.
true, true,
But now the trick is, can you take that song and perform it live in
it's
front
true,
of people?
it's
Right?
true,
That completely different, two different, you
it's
know,
true, so true, so true.
stones there. And I think that's important to talk about because being able to channel that energy, being able to channel those feels
Mhm.
is different. So discreet, what are your thoughts on that? And then I got a quick question on that specific note, you know, for you, Sticky.
Mhm.
Well, to be honest, when I'm making at the beginning, when I'm trying different things, trying different sounds, seeing what goes, the moment I feel like I'll be sat back and I'll feel myself moving, like Sticky B said, I'm moving to it. It's like, oh, I like this. That's normally the point where I'm thinking, right, I got it. This is what
Mhm.
we're working with. Do you know what I mean? But
Mhm.
yeah, Sticky B said it again. It's I once I get to that point where it's like I'm moving, it's like, oh, I'm grooving now. It's
Mhm.
you've got it. Keep going. This is
No,
what
no,
we
True.
we
exactly.
found
And
it.
I, you know,
This is the
Sticky,
one.
I've seen some of your videos that you posted before
Mhm.
of you performing.
Mhm.
So you get that aspect you get that aspect of it.
Mm,
So I'm not gonna ask you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna ask you how does that happen because you clearly channel that energy. You clearly
Mhm.
mm.
feel it. So I'm not gonna sit here and pacify you or ask a stupid ass
Yeah, whatever.
question.
Questions are
So
questions. Mhm.
my question specifically is what's your typical performance routine like if you're going to perform a track for the first time, right?
Mhm.
You've laid it down, you've recorded it, it's out there. What's a typical like practice for you or getting ready to perform that track for the
Mhm.
first time? What's that process look like for you?
Mm, it's kind of funny because sometimes I don't even practice at all. Like I've been called to a lot of what do you call it? What do you call it? Those things when you before
Rehearsal.
rehearsals. There you go. So I've been called to a lot of rehearsals, but I never really go.
Yeah, yeah.
I just kind of show up. But I guess it's just confidence and just knowing what you're talking about. Like, and again, like, you know, going back to what we were talked about, like I just found the confidence. I just found my zone
Yeah.
in what I wanted to talk about and what I want to do, and I just spit it out there. Like,
Apparently,
I guess my
apparently,
rehearsal.
Lil Wayne, was he
Yeah,
not turning up for rehearsals for the Super Bowl, and
yeah,
they got pissed off with him because he was so
true.
confident. I don't need to, but they
Yeah,
say you don't understand. We've got a show and we have to rehearse, and he's like,
hmm
"Oh, fuck that."
yeah. No, so yeah, something like that, you know. So like,
Yeah.
I was confident in my stuff, and and then I was growing up already. I was always like a people person. I was always like, you know, class clowns and all these things. So I kind of knew always how to like put on a show or be in front of people or whatever. Just act away. So like it just was like second nature to me. Like I already knew how to perform. But yeah,
Mm.
there was some little shaky spots and nervous spots you had to kind of like get over and shake off, in front of people and things. But and then that's my preparations and my stuff, how I got going. I just kind of
Well,
just went into it.
no, and I think that's very helpful from what we talked about earlier. That like, if you know who you are as an artist, you're
Mhm.
speaking truths in your message.
Mhm.
It's gonna be simple in the
Mhm.
sense that you're already channeling that energy,
Mhm.
right? Now you got to just mix it or match it, I guess, if you will, to the
Mhm.
energy of the crowd, the room that you're in, ultimately, right? And if you're speaking your truth, I think it's that easier. And it reminded me of a conversation discreet that we had with Derek Rush way back when somebody stole. We were talking about somebody stole one of his jokes, and he saw it on like the Tonight Show or something like that. And he's like, you could tell if somebody's not speaking their own truths, even with a joke, because it's the same, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
A comedian has to read the room. A comedian is a performer, just like a musical artist, right?
Mhm.
And I think Derek Rush made a very good point in the sense that if it's not really your life that you're telling about, because that's what he does, very similar to what you're talking about, Sticky B. He writes about
Mhm.
his life, his
Where it's
experience.
nice.
That's where his jokes and his bits come from. You're going to have a challenge if it's not authentic. And I don't care how much you
It's
rehearse.
true.
If it's not
Yeah.
really your life that you're talking about, your experience, like if it's intentful to be more conceptual, that's different because that's a different intent. But if you're trying to
Mhm.
sell somebody else's life or experience or message as your own and there's no authenticity to it, I feel that's always going to be translated through whether it's a comedic joke, it's a musical
And
performance. You know what I mean? And
but
I
I think
believe that.
it's
Totally
I
believe that.
always find the people who do that, in whichever way that they're lying or not telling their story. It's like,
Mhm.
how the hell? This is what I always wonder. How the hell do you walk away from doing that and feel good? Oh, I done that. Like that's me, and surely you'd walk away. I've just told a load of lies in a song, right? Don't you feel like so yeah? Don't like. How do you not have a problem with that? I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't either, but I guess that's the way of the world now, like, no?
Yeah.
They just tell lies and walk away and then go to bed.
I don't know. I find it
it's
strange. How can you walk away and feel proud of what you've done? I find it a strange thing.
That's again why I stick to what I do and never feared, because I know, and what you said too, there, like, I know for a fact when they're spitting shit, it's just lies, so it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't even, you don't even have to watch that. You don't have to even worry about that. Like, it's just like, okay, that's not going nowhere. Like, that's just talking. That's just the hype for a moment. And because
Exactly.
if somebody really dug into them, then, so those things never really phased me. And I just always laughed at those ones. People just come out there and spitting a whole bunch of stuff. And it's like, come on now. Like,
Yeah.
so it
and
never phased me. It never really did nothing. I just kept doing it because I know the realness is always real and the truth. You know how they say, set yourself free and all these things and all that. The truth will come out. So like, I was always just okay. Let's just
Yeah.
do this.
I always find as well with the truth is like if I say something that I know is true,
Hmm.
and someone says no, that's bullshit or whatever, I don't even argue with them.
No,
I just think, and look, I know the
that's it,
truth. You don't.
right?
I'm
Exactly,
not going to stand
exactly,
here and waste my time arguing about it.
exactly,
It's just,
exactly. No, it's true. I'm on the same page. Same page.
mm,
It's just wild. Like you're right, discreet. How people can just go do that and like put it off as their own,
Mm.
and
yeah,
whether you want to call it feel good about it. What I think about that is go ahead and try to steal somebody else's shit again. Not from the standpoint of somebody's coming after you. I mean, you might get called out and rightly so in
Mm.
today's
yeah.
day and age. So I don't mean it in that standpoint. What I mean it from the standpoint is it's going to be more challenging to take somebody else's history, message, experience, and do it over and over to try and pawn that off on as your own
Mhm.
Perfect
over and
example.
over and over again, right? What do
I
you got,
don't know.
Discreet?
Right from the beginning, Drake. There was just always this thing I used to just, when he first come on the scene, I just thought there's something about this guy I don't like, and it just feels like it's coming to fruition. He's not that guy he makes out to be.
No,
Do you know what I mean? I
not.
always have that feeling about him.
We've been getting that feeling. Like
Yeah,
maybe his first couple songs they were okay, but other than that, it's just copy. I call him the wave rider because all they do is just jump on people's waves and they just
exactly.
sing
Yeah,
about what that's going on at that time. Like it's not even who he really is. Like I don't believe none of this stuff, and a lot of the stuff is. If you really hear him, like even like maybe a
no
couple months
disrespect
back.
to Toronto. Sorry, Sticky B. I just realised. I thought, shit.
Yeah, I'm Toronto.
Yeah,
but what I realized though is I was listening to some of the songs. I'm like, it's always I got, me. This I'm doing. Like it's nothing like for anybody. It's just me. I'm like, you're only that because you're rich. You're only that because you can say these. I'm going here. I'm going there. It was like that's not music. That's not
so
nothing.
many
Like
artists like it. Drake
it's
just
like
came straight to mind, and then shortly after, I'm there thinking, "Oh my god! I can't believe I said that." Sticky B's from Canada, Toronto. I hope I've not offended him.
no. We don't mess with Drake. I don't listen to Drake like that. I'm not a Drake fan like that. Like I give him his credits. He's figured out a way on how to grab all the masses and grab everybody's attention. He's figured it out. And somebody told me
Exactly.
somebody told me recently the other time they're like Drake is smart for one reason because what he does is he takes his conversations and his whatever and he puts them in songs. If you really listen to some of his songs, they're like conversations. They're like, of what he had. So I'm like, he's found a way to tap in, I'm not gonna wrong a man for that. But other than that, I don't listen to him really too much because he can't relate to nothing that I live by or what I go by, so I don't listen to him like that.
No, and we feel the same way here on the show because we are about authenticity and organicness, and we've, there was a point where we took a couple letters away we started taking away letters from Drake's name, but at the same time, though, like, at the end of the day, to the point that you made, bro, like, you can't hate on him for doing what he's done. Like, you don't have to agree with it.
Exactly.
And I do not. I'm going to be very adamant about this right now. I do not consider his music hip-hop music. I just don't.
I consider him more of a singer. Like everyone, like when I hear his name as a rapper, I think, is he? I don't know. I see him as more as a singer.
Some people were saying it's more like pop music.
It is pop music,
yeah.
Definitely.
That's fair.
I thought it was kind of like hip-hop, pop kind of. I didn't really see the rap in it.
Was the beef against Kendrick. I thought, now he's rapping.
Yeah. And maybe like some of his earlier like 0 to 100, some of his earlier songs, like his beginning songs were a lot of rapping, I guess.
Yeah, it was. But I just feel like it's like he reminds me of artists like Neo and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And
you can see the change in what he did. You can see the change from the beginning to now. It's a lot of like singing, a lot of popping. It's a lot of like, you're like humming, like, like it's something else.
And it being told what to do by the industry.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, it's right. I mean, again, dude's made a lot of money. He's got a lot of money. I'm never gonna hate on somebody for doing that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But and I'm not gonna hate in general, but I don't agree kind of like with what we're talking
Yeah.
about. I wouldn't, as far as what I grew up with, as far as like hip hop culture and how I've experienced it and what I grew up around, where I grew up around, like
Mhm.
hip hop is, was rooted in, the struggles of life in general, whatever one might be going through, and being able to utilize that platform of music as getting that out and being a voice for those that are unheard, right?
Mm.
And I think it's important, and I think it gets. I'll say it this way: I think that gets lost in translation today because it's become so commercialized, which is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, but like everything, it has its pros and cons, right? Like people could put out a song and be like, "This is hip hop," and I'm not speaking specific to Drake at this moment. We'll kind of include him in the general of this statement that I'm going to make, but somebody will put something out there and be like, "This is hip hop." Nah, man, you're lying to us. It's something that's being masqueraded as hip hop, and that's what I appreciate about the underground nature that still exists within hip hop. Like it's not maybe as mainstream as it was in the 90s, but think about it. We live in a day and age where information travels so quickly and but those that really get what hip hop is and what it's meant to be about, those are the people that really get it, right?
True.
And I don't think that's Drake, and I don't think that's people who just masquerade a track or themselves as hip hop. Am I wrong in saying that, Sticky B? I'm gonna throw that to you first, and then Discreet. I'm gonna let you. Am I wrong in saying that, Sticky?
Go ahead.
Hold on, Discreet. Hold on.
I'll quickly just say this is an example. The next album I'm looking forward to that I know is coming. There's no Drake. There's no big pop star or big, whoever's in the top now. Exhibit. I'm waiting for a date on that shit. I want to listen to some Exhibit. His new album's coming out soon.
No, very good point there, Discreet. But back to that previous point, Sticky B. Am I wrong, kind of what I said there, as far as like people just masquerading shit as far as hip hop?
No, for sure. Because even like you said about the underground, it used to be underground, and then that was like the hip hop, that was the rap that came up into the real rap, and the real rap was there. But now it's like they have saturated everything, took out everything, and it's like they're trying to make like anything now. Like that song is hip hop, it's not hip hop, but it's hip hop, or that song is rap, but it's not. It's so watered down now. Like they almost like destroyed rap, real rap.
Anyone can make a song now and put it on Spotify, and they'll, you're there doing the same thing as J. Cole's doing. It's just, and it is saturated. It's absolutely saturated.
Yeah, so it's all over the place right now. Like there's no real like like there are rappers out there still rapping, but like
it does make it difficult when, like I just said, anyone can put out a song now. Literally anyone. We've got the technology and the tools to do that now.
Yeah.
Well, it's ridiculous. Think about it from this perspective, real quick. I read something the other day. And the number's ridiculous. There's something like 100,000 songs that are added to stream platforms every day.
For real,
I thought you were saying every hour.
100,000 songs.
Every hour.
No, I believe even sorry, cut you off. Even the other day, I was talking with my lady here, and I'm like, "What am I really like? What do I really do? Like, I didn't even know what my genre is. Like, I didn't even know what I'm like. If I'm a hip hop, if I'm a rap, or what, like, I didn't even know. Like, so So I'm kind of in that boat too, I guess. Like, what is your music, Sticky B? What what lines do you fall under? And I'm like, I don't even really know. Like, I just make music. Like, I just make songs.
Journey. That's part of the journey.
That's the beautiful thing, because like anytime somebody asks me like what's your image, I make real music with real messages that that whoever is meant to hear it is actually going to hear it. And that's what it's about for me.
Right.
Like my intent is not to make money off of music. If I do, don't get me wrong, that's a cool fucking thing. Like I always tell Discreet this, like if I can at least recoup the money that I put out to make a track, right? And if I just break it, I'm cool with that. Because for me, it's bigger than that. It's about the culture, it's about the message, it's about sharing my truths, my authentic messages that I've experienced in life, whether it's, you know, my bouts with alcohol or my bouts with family, just the growth experiences. I put music out there to be able to help somebody. Again, even if it's just one person that is meant to hear that specific message. That's what it's about for me, because that's where the authenticity and organicness shines really through. I don't think you could ever, especially in today's age, you cannot truly measure an artist through streams. If you're talking about money, sure. But if we're talking about real hip hop and the message that is really meant to be hip hop, that will never. It's kind of like a hot take that I'm taking right now. You cannot measure a true, real, organic artist through just streams alone. Am I right on that, Sticky? You want to go ahead and speak on that to me, and then Discreet, I'll let you answer that. So hold up, Discreet, Sticky B, go ahead and give.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right there. Like even like myself, like going to a strip club the other day to perform, and I'm like, what song am I gonna have? I don't have no stripper song or no nothing, right? But because the music is real and authentic, and whatever the case is, I'm still able to do it. I'm still able to perform, and people are still able to take to it, you know. So it's like there's nothing can go wrong with being, you know, the authentic and realness and the trueness. So you're good. You're good through that. You're good there.
Discreet, what are your thoughts on that?
I just know it because I've heard true, authentic music. This is good as anything I hear on the radio, and the song that I might have just listened to has got, you know, 2,000 total streams, and it's been out for 3 years, let's say. But it's as good as a track I like on the radio right now. Do you know what I mean? It's just not like going back to being saturated. There's just anyone can put out music, and not everyone's like me. Like I find, because I enjoy making music so much, I'm so passionate about it. I'm not that about the making money side, so you're not pushing it as much. You just want, like you, Mike, maybe some other close friends, as long as they hear it and I get a good reaction, I feel like I've mission complete. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's true. It's true.
I understand as well how saturated it is, but I mean, I've made money from music. I've sold beats, and as you know, Mike, but I just, with me, it's just, I just enjoy it so much. That's the thing for me. Do you know what I mean?
I guess no, I agree with that too. With Discreet. Just even like with like life, like just putting out music just for yourself or for anybody, for for people like this. You don't have to always like even just find the truth that we're not always like there. Like if we were all there, then yeah, we can all make it and earn the millions and stuff. But we're not. You have to find the truth. Like we're not there. We're not. This is our lane. This is where we're at right now. So it's like you have to
print it all out as well. It's like I've noticed on social media, like it's not almost like a test, but say you put out a post about an anniversary of a family member or something. By the end of the day, you have so many likes and reactions, right? And sometimes I've looked, and then another day I've put out a music post, and I'll get same amount of reactions, but the list of who reacted is totally different. Both lists of people are seeing the same posts. So it's a strange world. It is.
Well, I think that's what you specifically said right there, Discreet, too, as an artist of any kind, right? You have to understand what your goal is, what your intent is, like, because if your goal is to make music or to become a star,
make money or a star, you got to go about it so much differently.
Well, you're right, because you have to understand, and you have to also be willing that there has to be money that has to be put into the promotion of your song, especially as an independent artist, right? Like, we were talking about Drake earlier, but you talk about the Drakes, the Kendricks, like you have a company that's putting that money out there for
Yeah.
you to promo. Like as an independent artist, and Discreet, Jay Peasy told me this a couple months back. Like essentially, as an independent artist, you need to understand, or you need to look at it from this standpoint. If you're looking to make money off of your music, okay, let's say it took $1,000 to make a single, okay, and that's everything. You know, if you had to buy the beat, the studio time, whatever, with the mixing, the mastering, yada yada yada, you have to be prepared as an independent artist to put 4 to 5 times that amount of which it took you to make music actually make some money off the music. So if you're spending $1,000 on a single, then if again, this is for the independent artists out there that are specifically and only, I don't want to say only, but specifically looking to make money off of your music, you need to be willing to put $4,000 to $5,000
This is the thing,
and market that track. But the trick is knowing how to properly promote and market that. Are you paying $1,000 to Facebook and Instagram boosts? Are you spending $1,000 on getting your track into the hands of DJs and the proper DJs that are going to spin your song? Right. So it's a game. You got to understand the business side of it as well. If you're really looking to make money. And I think that's where sometimes independent artists or artists in general get deflated. They're like, yo, I made a dope song. Like for me, right? Let's use the example that I shared a little while ago. The track that I made with Jay Peasy, I'm sharing out I'm putting it out March the 13th, right? Well, I know I got a dope ass song because a producer who has produced and made tracks with Tech Nine, E40, Richie Rich, Young Dolph, NBA Young Boy, he told me it's a good song. And you know what? I believe him. And I have the belief in what I did on that track as well. But I can't sit here and just stand on it's a dope track alone, because if I don't get that out, then what good is it if I'm trying to make money off it, right? Like I can't be upset at myself if I only make a song, share it one time only on social media, and hope it just goes viral. No, you got to put time and effort and money behind that as well. So I only have to be mad at myself if I don't put the proper marketing behind it or promo behind it, if my intent is to make money off it, right? Like
it's like one of the tracks I made with Illness called Source of the Pain, right? It's beautiful, and I know it's good, and I know it's as good as anything that's ever been put out. But I understand just the world we live in, and even if we was famous, the message in the song is not what the mainstream wants to hear. Do you know what I mean? It's about pushing peace and just God and religion. Well, yeah. But I know it's beautiful. I know it's one of the best songs. I swear to God, anyone would say it's beautiful. Oh, we've lost him.
Yeah, we lost him. We'll get him back. But no,
I know. But do you know what I mean? I accept that the world we live in, basically.
No, it's really wild out there, man. Because I'll tell you this, and whether it's music or anything else, hope is not a strategy. That's all it is. Hope is just hope. And yes, there are some things that we have to put our faith in and our hope for into happening. But at the same time, when it comes to music or a product of any kind, whether it's music, a t-shirt, a hat, food, whatever, you have to have some genuine intent there, because if all you're doing is hoping, well, you're losing. You're losing right out of the gate when it comes to, getting your product out there. You know what I mean? So man, I don't know.
Sticky B's gonna get back on.
Yeah, no, Sticky B is going to get back on. I know he is. So we could finish up. We'll probably have, well, again, free flowing organic conversation. We'll go another 20, 30 minutes. But while we're waiting for Sticky B to pop back on, Discreet, what's kind of your just initial thoughts? Anything that stands out to you today so far from the conversation that we've had with Sticky B? Because there's definitely one more question that I want to ask him.
Yeah,
bare minimum.
But he's definitely authentic, and there's nothing. Yeah, he seems just a genuine, real, authentic artist. trying to do his
And
best. Like we all are.
exactly. And that's the beautiful thing, right? I mean, that's what I love about our show. Like, I don't care if you're known. You could be the biggest known artist out there. We'll have you on our show. You could be the least known artist out there. If you're a person who is authentic, real, and organic, and you just want to have some real talk, well, then this show is for you. People who love real talk and just telling it like it is, this show is for you. So tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend, because we keep it authentic out here. We're going to keep it a stack all the motherfucking time, because this is the culture show. Discreet, you and I say this, we don't own this show, bro. The culture owns this show. We just help facilitate it.
That's how it came
for
from.
the likes of Stick B, because we just started this just off the whim. D Rare Gem, shout out to you. Sticky B will be back. Sticky B is gonna tap back in with us, so we ain't going anywhere anytime soon. And part of me, I'm fighting something. I don't know what I'm fighting, but
I've got something at the moment. I don't feel ill as such, but like I'm sniffing a lot, and when I do, you know that illness smell. I can't describe it. You can taste it.
Yes,
it's in me. It's in me, but I can't feel it. It's not stopping me. Yeah.
Let's talk about something real quick. I want to, while we're waiting for Sticky B to get back. Exhibit. I want to talk about this real quick. Exhibit is signed to Conor McGregor's Greenback Records, which
I find it so strange.
The first time I saw that, I was very strange and shocked. Oh, here goes Sticky B. I think we got Sticky B.
I heard why the other day. I heard why.
Well, you go ahead and do that. I'm bringing Sticky B back right on. There we go. You there with us, Sticky B? You can hear us okay?
Yeah. I'll quickly say it because we want to get Sticky talking again.
Yeah, go ahead and give your point, Discreet.
Sorry, my phone died.
The Greenback Records got hold of the Exhibit and put it. They said, right, we'll have a meeting. And Exhibit was a little bit like, I don't know about this. But he come to find, he is a great promoter. And that's why he went with him. But to me, I'd be sat there and thinking, this guy's lost control a bit, though. Because to me, he seems like he's fully on the coke now. He is fucking shoving that shit up his nose every day, I think. Why would you want to sign to a record label who's got a boss like that? I don't know. We'll see what happens.
But
I reckon it'll be one album.
I'll tell you this real quick. I'll tell you, I got something for you, Discreet. And then we're gonna get right back into it with Sticky B. Greenback Records recently signed Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yes, I heard that as well. Yeah, I know.
Yep. So wild there.
Strange.
So definitely
It'll be interesting to see where that label goes. It really will.
I'm very curious. Time will tell. Time will tell.
Yeah.
Right. We were talking about something before we lost Sticky B there real quick. One thing I wanted to ask you, or at least to make sure to ask you, Sticky B, before we end up being done today, is this question. You mentioned a lot of artists earlier. You mentioned Nas, you mentioned Jadakiss, you mentioned DMX. So, you being in Toronto, if people don't know their geography at all, it's really not too far from a regional standpoint from New York City, right? The birthplace of hip hop. So would it be fair to say, and I'm speaking to first and foremost Toronto in general, and then I want you to specifically answer this question for you as an individual. Is it fair to say Toronto, their region, from a hip hop standpoint, from the culture standpoint, really is influenced by that New York tri-state area, right? Is that fair to say? I kind of got that feeling last week, Discreet, from C Real the Genius, who grew up primarily in Nova Scotia. But is that fair to say? Yeah, very much so. So is that fair to say for Toronto as a whole, Sticky B,
Sure.
and then for you as an individual, does that translate as far as being your main influence, and what other influences from a regional standpoint in the U.S. or general have you taken from a hip hop standpoint?
For sure. That's a fact. A lot of the music is copied from America. Like we have our own slang and our own style. Some artists they do. Like Cardinal Official started out, and Shock Claire and those guys started out their own styles for Toronto. They were Toronto style. But like a lot of the new and like upcoming, even before me, it was all copied from New York and stuff, New York styles, and not just the music, but even just the living out here. Like a lot of our neighborhoods are copied from American neighborhoods. You know, a lot of the even
It's the same.
right.
The UK, apart from the slang, like you say, they've got their own slang in the UK, in London, and
Mhm.
the way they dress and everything, it just all goes back to America.
Mhm.
It does.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes back, but like for me, I don't go to that American. I took my own style, my own talk, my own way. I keep my Jamaican side. I keep the reggae side. I talk like that. You know, I have the patois in
I
some of
can
my
hear it.
music and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I can hear the accent there.
Yeah, so stuff like that. You know, and I always call. I mean, people might hate me, whatever, but I always called I always called Toronto. It's like copycat, like follow. You know, they just followed everybody.
Mm.
So I believe what you're saying there, but my style, no, I don't copy them.
No.
But the rap, you know, like the rap and the Nas and all that stuff, like for sure, I love the way they did it, and, you know, even the DMX, that hardcore, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
just chanting, right, you know, so that stuff not copy, but you like that way because it gets people going, you know, it has so much emphasis in it, you know, people can really take to that kind of style, so stuff like that.
Well,
Too
one
true.
one thing I love, and I will very happily say this. DMX is probably my favorite artist of all time.
Hmm.
Favorite rapper, specifically Sticky B, from what you just talked about. Because listen, man, I got a lot of images from hip hop and my experiences and growing up with hip hop and just the culture as a whole. One of the biggest images that always sticks out of my head, and Discreet, I think we've talked about this before, is I
Yeah.
think it was like 1998, 1999. I don't remember exactly
Woodstock.
what. Yes, it might have been
Yeah.
Woodstock, where
One of my
DMX
best,
he's wearing the
the
I
red,
forgot.
the red
Yes,
jump, yeah.
It is
yes,
an
One of my
amazing
favorites.
sight.
bro.
That
And
is an
you
amazing. You can't see the end of the people.
You can't. That's one of my favorite moments ever in music lighting. Yeah.
and when
It
we
is a
talk about
sea, isn't it? Sea of people.
organicness, you cannot make something like that up. That is
Never.
No.
that is a moment that
Yeah.
just happens organically.
For
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
That's the beauty of it. And when we talk about channeling and like
Mhm.
you called it like chanting, like the thing I love about DMX is he is the exact same person as a human being was, rest in power.
Mhm.
But when you think about him as a human being and as an artist, for
Mhm.
me personally, and I'm 43 years old, I'll be 44 in a month and some change. Okay. So
Mhm.
I've seen and experienced some shit in life.
Yeah.
For me, DMX is the closest artist that I've ever experienced or followed that translates to exactly who he is as a human being. Like there's,
Mhm.
like for me, there's the artist Mike, there's the human Mike, and yes, like for true artists, there's some shit that comes together, right? But like for me, like DMX is the epitome of like literally exactly who you see as an artist is exactly who you see as a
Person.
human
Yeah.
being, right? Like even in his interviews and
He
conversations,
would
Facts.
he will walk into any situation and be the same in every situation. Because I'll tell you, like you're saying, Mike, I find I act not like I'm purposely, but I will act a little bit different when I'm at work. I'll be different from that when I'm at home. I'll be different from that when I walk into a shop and like
True.
talk to the store clerk. I'll act a certain way or change my way when I go visit my sister or something. But
True.
DMX
True.
be the same. He will act the same in every situation.
So true. So true.
Yeah,
So true. 'Cause even like from my life and my work is different. Like
yeah, you
like
sort of go about it differently. Carry
maybe like
yourself differently.
2 years ago, some of my coworkers just recently I found that I make music, so it was like I was hiding that from them for a long time, you know. So like it's fact that you said discreet.
Yeah,
it is. It's
it is.
DMX is
it, it,
always the same, always. So I loved it.
DMX never changes, not for no one.
no, and you got to appreciate that about people, right? Because you at least know what you're
Yeah.
getting at. People are just keeping it black and white,
Mhm.
and love them or hate them. You can never say a person such as that. In
Exactly.
DMX,
It's like when I
don't
say
know what
that
you
as
get.
well, I don't mean to say like I'm fake. It's just I feel
No,
like
no,
when I'm at work, I work in a place where there's certain things about my life that I
they don't
wouldn't
understand.
talk about to anyone at work because
Mhm.
it might jeopardize my position, let's
For
say.
sure.
And that's what I mean. That's what I'm
For
sort
sure,
of saying.
no, for sure, I get that. Even they might not even understand your
Yeah.
style, discreet. They might not even understand, your way of thinking is why you change up
You
from
just
work
got to
to
throw
this.
yourself in different situations, don't you?
Yeah,
Well, it's true though, because like we as human beings, we always we kind of pick off of the other energy of the surroundings that we're in, the other person,
Yeah.
for good, bad, or otherwise. And at work, you have to, right? Like unless you're
Yeah.
working for yourself, you have to hold yourself. Like you can't go in like discreet. You can't go into your work like a DMX and say whatever the fuck you want to expect to have a job, right?
They'll be like,
So
"Who the fuck is this?"
exactly. So you have to adjust to your surroundings, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, as a foundational person,
Yeah.
like you're still the same. You
Yeah.
just
Oh, of
I don't want to
course. Yeah.
say I don't want to say act
Your
differently, but that's the
morals don't
best way to
change.
really say it. No, not at
I think
all.
your morals
But
don't change in every situation. I go into every situation knowing that I don't want to hurt or upset anyone. But yeah,
no,
yeah, you're right,
you're
man.
right. You're right,
Yeah.
because like me, like when it comes to investing, like when I'm dealing with a deal or somebody trying to buy a house or something like that, like if they come at me, if they say something I like very much, there's the me who wants to be like, yo, what the fuck, what is wrong with you?
You know
Fuck
you can't do
But
that.
no, but you can't, because you don't want to sour a deal. You can still share the same foundational thoughts that you
Yeah.
want of your message, but you just have to know the audience of who you're speaking to, ultimately,
Exactly.
right? You can tell another realtor to go fuck themselves. But if
And to be
they come on
honest,
stage,
DMX was in a position where he could just be whatever he wanted in any situation because his situation was different.
correct, and that's a beautiful thing. Whereas as an artist, though, like if I'm in a battle rap or I'm just wanting to go talk some shit on somebody, well, I can hop on stage, hop on a microphone, and tell that person, "Fuck you." You got to know the scenarios that you're in, right?
Mhm.
But at the same, you're still the same foundational person when it
Yeah.
comes down to it. No matter what, you gotta know your surroundings. That's
But
really what it
even
comes
if
down to.
we think DMX was in, say, my position, same financial position, he would act the same in everywhere he went. It'd be the same, and it might get him in a lot of trouble. But I don't think he would give a fuck.
No, not at all.
True,
Not at
true.
all. One thing I wanna talk about too, and Stinky B, we're gonna be respectful of your time. We'll hang out for another
No
10,
worries, it's
15
okay.
minutes
Yeah, soft.
if you're good. But one thing I want to make sure that we bring up and we talk about, because I want to talk about how this came together, your most recent project. Give Her All the Stars. I'm pretty sure that's the title of the song. Please
Yeah.
correct me if I need to. Dope song, very much speaks to the uplifting music and messages that we've talked about with you today. If you could talk to us about the inspiration of your most recent project that we're discussing right now, where did that come from, and what was just the process of putting that song and that project together for yourself as an artist, and of course with the message, how it translates to you as the human as well.
Mhm. So I guess that song, but that song came from just through going through life, just seeing, people not deserve, the credit, or just I guess my mom, and like my lady, just the people, again, got back to the people that just do so much for me in life, and just never received that, and I just felt like even my daughter, like, just I never had a father growing up, so I was like, I'm not gonna make this girl not have a father. Like, I was gonna be there, so
I feel that.
so that song just kind of just it's it's for one lady, but it speaks on a lot of things, like just you got to give people stars. I just had to just make it, like, because even like back in the days, like the men were always on the woman, and there was always a lot of like slut and bitch and this, that, come here, whore, and come this. It was always like, time has changed a little bit now where it's the women are more of up and the men are kind of behind now. So I'm like, just tied everything all in. I was just tired of everything, just tired. I'm like, let me just do this song because we don't have a song like that. Like, it's like give her the stars, like, show them, show the world what the woman, what a woman can really be, or what your woman could be, or like just different from just the whole bitch and slut and this and that, just like, okay, give them the stars. Just like everybody's always like, oh, they deserve their flowers. They deserve their flowers. So I'm like, what, give people stars, just tapping into that, just, godly kind of person, stars are better than flowers in my eyes.
I like it.
Yeah, stuff
I
like that.
appreciate that. From a production standpoint, do you utilize the same producer when you're making new music? Do you have a couple different producers
Yeah, different
that you mess
producers.
with?
Different producers, different beat makers. I try to give everybody, again, I do uplifting stuff, so I try to give everybody an opportunity to uplift themselves and to showcase their things. I love to see people thrive and stuff like that. So I give everybody opportunities to work, who wants to work with me, and who a lot of the producers shot me ideas and shot me beats and said, okay, let's go. You're the next one. A lot of videographers have reached out to me, said, okay, let's go. I didn't want to keep the same person because I didn't feel like my uplifting thing it's not about one person, one thing. It's uplifting is always everybody, everything, everywhere. It's just always uplifting up. Just giving people opportunities.
I mean, I can't make beats at the moment, but it's all going to be happening again soon. I'll be back in motion, but I've been writing down a list of ideas, and I think a couple of them might suit you, Sticky B.
For sure, we can work, for sure.
We'll be in touch.
I would love to take a beat, for sure.
Yeah. I know we're following each other on Instagram, so I will be in touch.
For sure, okay. Yeah, that's my thing.
Awesome, man.
No, great question there, and that leads me to a follow-up question. How do you go about? I think one thing that people miss as well, especially when they're becoming a new artist, right, or just like really starting to build onto wanting to do something with music, building a team, right? So I want to talk to you about what has been your experience, or what has been your process, Sticky B, of kind of building a team around you. And and that's why I asked the question about the producers as well. Having a couple producers, having maybe a couple videographers or photographers or promo people. What's that experience like for you? What has it been like for you? And what is something that maybe that you'd be willing to share with people as why it's important to build the right team or surround yourself with the right people when you're trying to do something with music?
The importance, I guess, building a team. So what I used to always say is like, because I started in a neighborhood. I grew up in a neighborhood, 200 plus people, a lot of guys, a lot of friends. I have a ton of friends. Like I did my first song, my first video was called "Call on Me," and like I had like 15 of my friends, like close friends I knew from childhood, and they all came out, supported the video, and pushed the music and stuff. But then slowly, as people saw you progressing and moving up in life, you would get the odd people falling off here and there. So it's like moving out moving out. I moved out with some friends. It didn't work out, So I kind of told people, don't move out with friends. Don't move. So I would kind of say the same thing with a team. You can't have so much friends on your team per se. Like I have like two of my best friends. Like one's a girl and one's a guy, and they like help me push my music and promote this and send me this and send me that.
Yeah.
But a lot of the other stuff comes from like strangers that I just met, like random people. Like I'm managing this. They always post. They would always shoot me things. They would always, tag or this, that, or always like things. And so I kind of created an outside team kind of versus just my friends. So I would say don't use friends really, And then like my music is uplifting, so not a lot of people messed with it. So I lost a lot of people. Like I didn't really have a team because no one really knew the genre. They didn't have the confidence in what I was doing. They didn't understand what I was doing. Not a lot of people came from what I was coming from, and then the people that did come from what I came from didn't take to. They weren't doing music like I'm doing, you know. So it's so hard to find a team. And my
2 minutes. I'll be back.
yeah.
Nah, do your
So
thing.
stuff
Do your thing.
stuff like that. I guess people just have to find genuine and just not just like their friends, but they have to find real connections onto what, and you know, people that are willing to go with them and follow them on their journey, you know, things like that. So I just found I have a bunch of like people I've never met in my life or strangers or whatever just became friends, like, you know, that are on my team that shoot me things all the time and promos and do this. And I have some promo pages. I don't even know who they are, but they always promote my stuff, you know, stuff like that. So I think outside the box for sure. Or,
And I
but
think
like,
that's
yeah.
I think that's what's really cool about music and a lot of what we've been talking about today with respect to
Mhm.
organicness and authenticity, because you could not, like you said, like know somebody, have grown up with them, or you just learned about them through your journey of being online or music or whatever the case is. And
Oh,
the impact that you can have on somebody that you don't know, you've never met in your life, through putting out your message of music and building, you know, that foundation of what your message is, and with your
Mhm.
lifting, like for me, and and this question, I'm going to answer this question before I even ask it to you. This means more to me. Being able to do that means more to me than any money that can
Mhm.
be made off of
Mhm.
music itself, because you are doing something, all right, in the sense of connecting with a person through your music and messages that you put out there.
Mhm.
You can't put a price tag on that, right?
No.
no.
So do you agree with my statement? What's your take on that? That, like, for me, being able to make a connection with somebody that I don't know through my music and helping them through something is an intangible that, one, cannot put a price value cannot be put on, and two, I would actually much prefer that than somebody spending $5 on a whole album of mine. Is that a
Mhm.
thought that you share even on a foundational level?
Yeah, I
What I
share
said
that.
there.
I'm not a money person. I never, you know, like I don't care for money really like that, you know, and I do all this through the passion, through the love, you know, like 'cause I again I know my situation, I know the state that we're in right now. Like I'm not in that position to say, okay, I'm gonna go make millions of dollars right now. And I just know that's
Yeah.
not gonna happen really like that.
As long
So
as
like
we've got the money to survive.
I cherish relationships more than buying my albums or buying my, you know, stuff like that. Like I cherish more
Yeah.
those things.
I can appreciate
Yeah.
that. Hey, yo, discreet, real quick. You know what just popped in into my mind, bro? You know who
What's
I can
that?
see Sticky B doing a collab with?
Who?
Somebody from Kansas City. It's a female. You are Twitter pated with her, bro. You know exactly who I'm talking about, dog.
Oh, oh,
Yes, from
sweets.
Barbados. Originally from Barbados.
Yeah,
By
Okay.
way, yo,
yeah. Oh, man.
I,
Don't right. Every time I think of sweets, right? This is a bit, it's a bit rude, but the first thing I think of is her thighs.
Hey, that's okay.
Like those thighs are special, man. They just don't look real.
That's good.
Discreet, I ain't mad at you, bro. You like what you like, bro. I ain't mad at you. I'm mad at you at all. But nah, I think that's something we can make. I think that's something
Disrespectful.
we should make happen. I think we gotta
Sure.
connect them in the sense of learning. And
Yeah, that would be a good
We'll take
collab, though.
a
Seriously.
discreet beat.
yes,
Yeah,
Indeed,
yes,
indeed.
that.
that would be hella dope. That's something that I know I can facilitate. I'm actually moving to Kansas City, hopefully in like 28 days.
For real.
And Sweets
Yeah.
is a good friend,
Be long till I'm back in action.
bro. For real, I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to getting to Kansas City, bro. Like you
Mm.
talk about a
Yeah.
place that literally like has its own life in music. Man, music is on a whole nother level in Kansas City, bro. Let me tell you. that's one of the most exciting reasons that we're moving there, amongst some other things.
Okay.
Music scene there.
I'm afraid to say I'm gonna have to go in about 10
That's
minutes.
right. We're gonna start. We're gonna start
Boys.
winding down here discreet, anyways, because we're pulling up on an hour and a half, and again, we do our organic conversations here, so we ain't gonna just stop it, but we also want to be respectful of everybody's time, right? And
that's why I gave
we
the
all got
warning.
families and shit. We got shit to do today, but no, I appreciate the heads up. So we're gonna start winding it down here, as well. But no, we gotta make that happen, Sticky B. I'm gonna make sure we get you some of Sweet's music.
Sure.
I'm gonna make sure Sweets gets some of your music, and I can see a match being made here on a discreet beat as well.
Right.
Oh man.
So that would be hella dope. So as we start to wind down here, obviously Sticky B, we talked about your most recent project, Give Her the Stars. Anything else that you're working on, or anything else that you want to share before we let you go? That people, if they want to really get the understanding of you and your uplifting messages in your music, what is something for somebody that's watching with us right now, other than Give Her the Stars? What is something else that you've already got out there that they should listen to? And then I'm also curious if you're currently working on anything else right now in the background.
I would say all my songs you can listen to. They're all good. They all have messages. They're all the vibe. Like Call on Me is a good one. Life Ties, it just talks about life and just holding on. We have one life to live, kind of thing. I have a song with a girl right now. Her name's Agent 28. It's called Graffiti and Gravity. It just pretty much talks about just mixed races. They can be together. People can be together. We don't need. It's just uplifting. Like you don't need on her part. You don't need surgery. You don't need plastic. This. You don't need all this makeup. You don't need all these nails and this that. You're fine who you are. My part is just like uplifting. Like take a look at the world. Like stop this. Do this. Open up the eyes. So it's just because she's the. I think it was like she's the graffiti and I'm the gravity kind of part. So I'm like my gravity is the uplifting, bringing you on. Her graffiti is you don't need to paint yourself pictures. You don't need to do all these things. You can be who you are, be any style, and everybody's right. Everybody still looks good and the same. So that I would say is my newest song coming out. The video's coming out February 14th, Valentine's Day. And then I have a song I'm trying to work on. It's been taking me a while because I'm trying to find the right styles and right things, but it's called Angel Eyes. Pretty much it's just looking, because again, how I started this whole uplifting and things and all this, like I just felt like I was that kind of person. I felt like, like everybody came to me with stuff. I was always solving this, that. I always I don't know. I just felt like I'm that person. Like I don't want to, people might say, "Oh," but I feel like I'm an angel somewhat. So I just kind of like, let me put this song together because I just have so much to say that people just love to hear what I'm saying, and I've heard so much good, and I be putting so much events and so much different, speaking things. So
I believe
I think
we are all so special, but a lot of people don't realize it. It's when you realize it, you start progressing with your life. How special it is.
Agree. My lady agreed with you just now too.
I have one final question that's going to come from myself. So discreet. If you end up having a final question or two after this one, be ready for it because we're going to start letting Sticky B get on to the rest of his day. This is something that we ask everybody. If you could, Sticky B, and you want to share it, where did your name Sticky B come from? Tell us the story about how the name Sticky B came about.
I don't even know a real story, but like people used to call me Stick Man and stuff like that, and Bird, and because my last name is B, so instead of saying Burke, they would always be like Bird, So like I don't know where it just came from, and just like I guess I just felt like I stuck to people. Like every word I said, it stuck to people. Like people always reached out to me. Like I was always here and there and there, and Jason was always there, So I don't know where it really came from and how it came, but we got Sticky, and my last name starts with B, so we just
It just stuck
It just
with
stuck,
Sticky.
right?
I love very similar how Discreet got his name as Discreet as well.
Right.
Just kind of happened. So I could
It's gonna
appreciate that.
happen.
But
Yeah.
we're always curious because sometimes there's a story behind it.
Yeah,
and in
yeah.
this case, sometimes there's a story without being a story behind it, right?
Right.
So sometimes
It just
again,
happened, right? We just kind of ran with it, like, oh, Sticky B, okay, Sticky B, okay, boom,
I like it.
I actually have a tattoo, but I don't know if I got it. It says Sticky B, but I don't know if I got it years ago, but I don't know if how I got the name and how it got tatted on, but we ran with that.
There you go. I love it. I appreciate you sharing that with us. All right, Discreet, time for one more question before we start to wind things down because I gotta get the hell out of here in a little bit myself as well. But Discreet, any final questions that you have for Sticky B before we let him go about the rest of his day?
I think you've covered it because I was going to ask what's coming out next and all that, and you covered that. So no, I think I'm good. Yeah.
All right. Well, I will.
I mean, I've got to go get my daughter, and more importantly, I'm dying for a piss.
There you go. Well, I will leave it off on this. Sticky B, we're gonna let you close out the show, bro. Before we do, on behalf of myself and Discreet and all the outsiders watching with us today, we want to thank you sincerely.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Man, say less. You are always the door is always open. We tell that to all of our because you are now officially, you already were, but now you're officially a We Outside Livecast family member. The door is always open for you. Anytime you want to throw it, you just let us know. But we appreciate your time today. It's Sunday. It's usually a family day. We know you got a family, so we appreciate the time of your family, letting them share you with us and the outsiders here today as well. We're gonna get at this again, but before that's all I got to say. So let the people know where they can find you, where they can find your music, where they can find your messages, any social handles that you want to share with us. Literally, bro, you close out the show, bro, and when you're done talking, we're gonna say goodbye and we're closing that door, bro.
Well, I just want to say thank you guys. Thank you to both of you, even to you, Mike, because even when I put on a story, a lot of people tapped into me. They're like, yo, that's a good look. And like, even a lot of people were like, that didn't really think I could go anywhere really. They started tapping and were like, yo, you're going into this, you're going here. Like people are really like reaching out to you and, so like, you guys keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate that. Like, it's a good look,
Thank you.
And I just want to say, just everybody out there, just stay strong, stay happy always. Just, stay positive, just live life, smile, laugh every day, stuff like that, and yeah, be grateful. All those positive, all those good things, and everything will always come to you. The truth will set you free. All these things. I guess my music's all on Spotify. You can go on YouTube. I'm on Instagram.
Awesome.
Yeah, StickyB_54 is my Instagram. So that's it for me, pretty much.
Go listen to some music. Go follow this homie on Instagram. He's out there. He's doing his things. He's outside. He's been outside. So we appreciate you, man. All love to you and your family that way. Y'all have a beautiful Sunday today.
You too.
We're gonna get back at it again, bro. And yeah, we're gonna make that connection. I see it already. Discreet,
yes, sir.
Sticky B, and
Sweets
on a track.
Yes, sir.
I love it.
And
let me know Let me know, Discreet, when you start making beats again. Yeah,
definitely, I will. It won't be long. I'm starting to have withdrawal symptoms, but there's a couple bits missing from the puzzle. That's all it is.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited to get that going too, Discreet. So we're ready. We're ready. We're here, bro. We're here. Well, y'all both have a good rest of your day. Thank you again for the time, Sticky B. We'll definitely be catching up soon, bro, for sure.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. All right, Discreet. We'll talk to you later, bro.
Cheers, boys. Thank you,
Yes, sir. You too, Discreet. I'll see you.